Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Stephanie Pizzera and I will be your moderator for this session. I want to thank you all for coming to the webinar today titled Q&A Session for Give Big Riverside 2013. Our primary speaker today is Veronica Dover, Chief Operating Officer for Family Service Association. Let me give you some history on Family Service Association. Family Service Association is a large nonprofit human service organization that serves the Inland Empire. Family Service Association participated in last year's inaugural Give Big Riverside campaign, and Veronica has been a member of the steering committee for Give Big Riverside since it started in 2012. Let me just go over a couple of housekeeping points before we begin with the presentation. For those of you who are new to the webinar technology, let me explain what you will see during the webinar. Slides will be shown on the right-hand side of your screen and the question box to your left. And I'll say more about submitting questions in a moment. If you're experiencing any trouble, if windows disappear, slides don't seem to be advancing, simply close and reopen the webinar window, and that should usually fix the issue. If you're experiencing problems with your audio, the best solution is to call in the webinar and listen over the phone. The call-in number is in the box in the lower left-hand side of your screen. If that doesn't work, there is also a URL in the lower left box that will put you in touch with the SOG Help Desk. This webinar is being recorded and the online archive will be available for you to review after the live version. This webinar is technology interactive, and we do encourage you to submit your questions to our presenter today using the question box on the left-hand side of your screen. To submit a question, type it in the question box, and towards the end of the presentation, I will review all of the questions and answer them then. Feel free to submit your questions at any time. I'll be monitoring them throughout the presentation and respond during our Q&A portion. And now I'd like to introduce our speaker, Veronica Dover.
Good morning, everyone, and I'd like to thank you for your interest in Give Big Riverside. Give Big is an online giving campaign that can help us create an even greater impact for our nonprofit organizations in the greater Riverside area. Online fundraising campaigns such as Give Big have been raising millions of dollars for nonprofit agencies in locations across the country for the last 4 to 5 years. These campaigns harness the power of social media, shared strength in numbers, and innovative collaborative marketing strategies. You can see from the screen that online giving campaigns are a growing trend around the country. They give agencies a vehicle to raise funds, but they also provide a vehicle for agencies to push themselves to the next level in their online presence and their activity. This screen shows you the final leaderboards for 2 online giving campaigns that took place last year. The top part of the screen is the final leaderboard for Park City, Utah. You can see that in Park City last year, in 24 hours, they raised $595,642. They had 2,869 donors, and those donors made 5,132 donations. The reason I want you to pay attention to this screen is that not only did they raise a decent amount of money in Park City, they had donors who gave to more than one organization. The power of doing an online collaborative fundraising event is our shared strength in numbers. So donors that come on to the site to give to a nonprofit they may be familiar with are also going to scroll through all of the nonprofits in Give Big Riverside, and maybe they'll give to your organization as well. So we're hopeful that our donors will get connected to more than one of our great nonprofits in the Riverside area. The bottom screen is from our neighbors to the south of us, San Diego. Give Big San Diego raised over $2 million in their very first Give Big Day, their very first online Give Day in 2012. Later, we're going to see how Riverside did in our inaugural first-time event. So why would we need an online giving campaign in Riverside? Now, I know I'm speaking to the choir because most of you are from nonprofit organizations, and you have also been trying to increase your donations and your fundraising. As you know, giving in the Riverside and San Bernardino areas of the country have been depressed a little bit. A James Irvine Foundation on Statewide Philanthropy reported our Riverside and San Bernardino per capita rate. And our per capita rate is much lower than the rest of California. Resources are diminishing in the area while need is increasing. While Riverside's nonprofits are struggling to meet the increasing demand, our state, federal, and government local funding sources are all diminishing. So we're all looking for ways to meet the need with private fundraising dollars. Local nonprofits, as you know, again, I'm speaking to the choir, create jobs. We provide important benefits to economic development, and we really increase the quality of life here in Riverside. And so we want to make sure that the public knows what we know about the great work that nonprofits do. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at this TED Talks video that came out in March, The Way We Think About Charity is Dead Wrong. And this is a really excellent webinar. I encourage you to watch this. Dan Pallotta does this. And he poses the question during this, what would happen if we just increased giving by 1%? Currently, across the entire United States, charitable giving is about $300 billion per year. And it's stayed pretty stable at $300 billion or right around that mark ever since we started tracking it in 1970. If we just increase that number by 1%, that's the graph that you're seeing come on the screen right now, we would raise an additional $150 billion more per year. That's a huge impact with just 1% of additional giving. The same thing is true in our local area. So by participating in Give Big Riverside, you could be a part of a cross-country focus on increasing philanthropy across the United States. So Give Big Riverside 2012, we had some campaign goals when we set out for our very first event. The first one was to raise awareness of local need, and that's what I just talked about on the last two slides. We really wanted to raise the awareness in our constituents in the greater Riverside area about what we do as nonprofits, what the local needs are, and how they could give to their own agencies serving people right here, their neighbors, their friends, and maybe even themselves here in the Inland Empire. We know that the people of Riverside are very, very generous. When we have had opportunities to give to our sister cities, when they've experienced tsunamis, earthquakes, when we've had the opportunity to give to Haiti, for example, the residents of Riverside have raised a tremendous amount of money. So we know that they have a heart for giving, they have a heart for the need and helping people with need. We need to make them aware of the needs right here in our own backyard. We want to increase the capacity of local nonprofits for online giving. Online giving is the best way to reach out to new donors. It's the best way to reach out to younger donors, and it really is the most efficient way to fundraise. Many of our local nonprofits, though, have a very small, very limited online presence. And by participating in Give Big, we can really help them increase that online presence in a lot of different ways that we'll cover a little bit later in the webinar. We want to increase the ability of our nonprofit agencies to tell their story. One of the most effective ways to fundraise is to really be able to capture your mission and what you're trying to accomplish in stories about the impact that we make. And so increasing the ability for nonprofits to tell effective stories that lead to donations was a goal for our 2012 campaign and remains a goal for us this year. Finally, we want to engage new donors and younger donors. Many of our nonprofit organizations have an existing donor base, and of course we want that existing donor base to give to your nonprofit during Give Big, but we also want to have a platform for your agency to reach out and engage with new donors, and the online presence is going to give you the ability to connect with younger donors who are very, very comfortable with online giving, online activities, and an online presence. So some key statistics about last year's Give Big campaign. Last year we had 93 participating nonprofits. The total dollars raised were a little over 200,000, $207,450. $192,450 of those dollars were the actual online giving that came from donors through the Razoo website that I'll talk about a little bit later. The rest of that was prize money. So later I will talk about the gamification or the prizes that are involved in the healthy competition that we have amongst our nonprofits during the Give Big campaign. We had 1,953 unique donors and a little over 2,700 donations. So you can see that some of our donors also gave to more than one organization, and that's something that we want to increase this year. We had donations from 33 states. This really shows you the power of an online campaign. Usually when our local nonprofits run a fundraising event, they're able to fundraise locally here in the Riverside area or maybe the greater Inland Empire area, or perhaps you get donations from Southern California. But through an online campaign, you are able to reach out and get donations from people who support your mission all the way across the United States and beyond. Agencies reported an average of 40% new donors. So these are new people becoming connected to the mission and the vision of what our agencies do and the good work that we're doing here in Riverside. So our wins, we did have new donors engaged. We had new and expanded use of social media and internet technology for our nonprofits. We had the development of staff and volunteers into champions for their agency and increased visibility for nonprofits and the services they offer. I want to talk for a minute about the expanded use of social media and internet technology. Many of our 93 nonprofits last year had only a website or only a Facebook page. Through participating in Give Big Riverside, it pushes your agency to take that next step. So it doesn't matter where you are in your development of your social media marketing or your development of your online presence. Participating in Give Big is going to push you to take that next step and reach out a little bit farther, get a little more exposure in social media. Many of our agencies reported that staff and volunteers, including board members, really found the Give Big campaign as a vehicle to be able to champion their agency. They learned to tell the story of their agency and the great work that they do, and it really gave them a way to learn how to contribute to the agency's fundraising. And again, we had increased visibility for nonprofits and increased visibility of the wonderful ways that we're able to collaborate together as a nonprofit community in Riverside. So how does an online giving campaign work? Well, there's several backbones to the online giving campaign. First of all, the Community Foundation is the organizing partner. They have organized the task force for Give Big Riverside under their umbrella, and they really provide the backbone and structure and staff support. And we really want to thank them for stepping up and agreeing to be the sponsor lead agency and really pulling together this for the benefit of all of the nonprofits in the Riverside area. Second, you have the Give Big Riverside Task Force. This task force is composed of several individuals from many nonprofits in the area, funding sources, key leaders in the community who really engage in a lot of time managing this process, coming up with the marketing campaigns for the Give Big Riverside process and putting a lot of heart and soul into our efforts here at Give Big. And we want to thank a big thank you to our task force members. Third, we have Razoo. Razoo is an online giving portal. So they are a company that does online giving campaigns. This is all they do. They have a website that is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And once a nonprofit registers with Razoo, as you will do during the Give Big Riverside process, your Razoo page is up and able to collect online donations for you from that point on for as long as you would like. So Razoo can collect donations for you online and funnel them back to your nonprofit during Give Big and also 365 days a year. So you will have an online ability to collect donations from now on, from whenever you set up your Razoo page from then on. There are some processing fees. Because this is an online campaign, donors use their credit cards to be able to donate to your organization. So there's the credit card fees. There's a small fee that Razoo takes, and that's for the credit card fees and for collecting all of your donations and sending it back to you. And then there's a small percentage that goes back to the Community Foundation, which helps support their staff support in putting together this huge campaign for all of us. The total percentage that would be taken off of your donations is 7%. And if you compare that to the general operating expenses you would have from running your own campaigns and your own fundraising events, you'll see that that's a very small amount, and this is an excellent value for your money. There's strength and numbers in participating in an online giving campaign. You benefit by being a part of Give Big Riverside because of the marketing that your own organization will do, but you also will benefit from the overall marketing of the Give Big Riverside Task Force, the marketing done by the Community Foundation, and the marketing that is done by all of the different agencies that are a part of Give Big. There really is strength in numbers in this type of online campaign. So let's look at some feedback from last year's participating nonprofits so you can see how they feel about last year's event. First of all, we asked our nonprofits after our Give Big Day, how easy was it to work with Razoo? It was important for us to find out if working with Razoo again, if this online platform was the right platform for Give Big. You'll see from the responses that the majority of people thought that working with Razoo and setting up their Razoo page was either easy or very easy. And then there was a large percentage that thought it was somewhat easy. There was a very small percentage that thought it was hard. I want to assure you that the Give Big Riverside Task Force is committed to helping you set up your Razoo page. We will be giving several trainings that will help you set up that Razoo page if you've never done it before. And if you're experiencing any difficulty, we will walk you through that. Which of the online marketing tools did you begin to use as a result of Give Big Riverside? This is another question that we asked of our participating agencies. Remember, one of the goals for Give Big Riverside is to push our agencies to increase their online presence. So first, the largest amount of online, sorry for that interruption. The largest amount of agencies' online increase was with Facebook. A slightly smaller amount started to do an e-newsletter. Many of our organizations started a organizational website, and several of them also started Twitter accounts. So you can see that many of our organizations increased their online presence by being a part of the Give Big Riverside campaign. Which training format was the most beneficial? Something else that we wanted to know from our nonprofits was which of the training formats they found the most beneficial in learning about social media marketing and learning about their Razoo page and all of the different trainings that we're able to provide to our agencies. The majority of our respondents enjoyed the live webinar focus, and that's why you'll see that we're doing this question and answer through the live webinar process. The second highest training was live trainings. So we're going to have several live trainings throughout our Give Big process to respond to that. And then the third was recorded webinars. This webinar today is being recorded and will be available to you through the Give Big Riverside webpage. And we will also be making sure that future webinars are recorded for your use. Next, we want to look at the number of gifts. You can see that 82% of the gifts that we received last year through Razoo were $60 or less, with almost 50% coming from gifts of $10 to $20. This shows you that what we're looking for through an online giving campaign is a lot of donors, and many of them giving just really small amounts. This is different from traditional fundraising. In traditional fundraising, often we're looking for the big gifts or donors who are able to give us thousands of dollars. In an online campaign, we're doing something a little bit different. We're looking for reaching thousands and thousands of donors per agency, and those donors giving just $10, $20, or of course, as much as they're able to. So if people are able to give at that mark down there $10,000, you can see we had 3 donors that gave $10,000. We would love to have that as well. But we're trying to reach more people and get them engaged with our nonprofits. I told you earlier that I would talk to you about the gamification. One of the very fun things about participating in an online giving campaign is that we can compete with each other to see if we can get more unique donors or more dollars raised. Last year's winners were based on the number of unique donors. And I want you to, you see the final leaderboard here. I want you to notice that the top agency that won the large prize last year was a very, very small nonprofit. So it really doesn't matter the size of the nonprofit, the size of the staff, or the size of the board. That's not what helps us win under this unique donors. It really is the amount of effort that you put in and the amount of reach of your social marketing message. This year, we plan to do 2 leaderboards, one for the number of unique donors and one for the total dollar amount raised. And there will be leaderboard winnings or prize money attached to both of those leaderboards. So frequently asked questions, or why would we participate, or what do we have to do to participate? Your agency should have been incorporated prior to November of 2010 as a registered 501c3. And you should provide services in the greater Riverside area. And we know that that number of agencies is well over 500 agencies that could participate with us this year in our Give Big Riverside campaign. We want to have established organizations who are able to handle the tasks necessary for online giving, and so that we know that agencies are well established, well run, and in a great position to be able to do our online giving campaign. So the first thing that you would do is you would complete and submit an application. There are some fees attached with the application, and that's to help with the infrastructure of running the Give Big campaign. So early bird fees, if your application is received by June 30th, your fees will be $100. On time would be if the application is received between July 1st and August 30th, and that would be $125. Late registration would be if the application is received after August 30th, and that's $150. And the final deadline for submission of an application is Tuesday, October 1st. Now we're hoping that you apply well before October 1st to be a part of our online giving campaign this year. Next, you would need to create a Razoo page for your agency. We will have at least 2 trainings this year in how to set up your Razoo page, and we do have a nonprofit engagement committee that is here to help you with questions about how to set up your online presence. And you would submit a marketing profile on your agency to our marketing committee. Remember that the power of Give Big, and one of the benefits that you get from being a Give Big participant, is the marketing committee of the Give Big Riverside Task Force. They will be marketing all of our agencies to the community, and so they need to have a marketing profile for your agency. Now, what we suggest you do is that you don't stop there, that you also market to your donors, your existing donors, your clients, your community, through your social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, your website, your e-newsletter, Pinterest, and any other place that you have a presence on the web. You may be starting a new Twitter account or a new website as a part of Give Big. We expect that you would participate in trainings and networking events that are designed to assist you in preparations for the big day. We're having coffee chats with our nonprofits. We're having trainings. We're having opportunities for our participating agencies to come together and learn from each other, and we hope that you'll be a part of those. And we would ask that you participate in marketing efforts that are organized by the Give Big Task Force. We had a recent photo campaign that was organized by our marketing committee, and we would hope that if you're asked to participate in one of those, that you would be a part of that. So what trainings and support will be offered to our participating agencies? A diverse menu of training topics is being developed for this year's Give Big Riverside training calendar, and the list includes the topics below. First of all, we're going to do training on social media. We're going to do some basic training on how to set up and utilize social media, such as how to set up an agency Facebook page. And then we're going to do some advanced marketing strategies using social media. Those advanced social media topics are in development right now, and the Give Big Riverside website will be your go-to place to find out what trainings are upcoming that you can participate in. We're going to do a training on Razoo page development. This training will be offered at least 2 times during the course of our Give Big Riverside campaign, so that you will have an easy time setting up your Give Big or your Razoo page, or updating your Razoo page for those of you who participated last year. We're going to do a training on donor cultivation, and we're doing monthly coffee chats. The topics of our monthly coffee chats are below, and we held our very first one, Lessons Learned and Challenges and Successes, this past Friday at the Community Foundation. We had 20 participants and a lively discussion on things that went well last year, challenges and successes that we had, and great brainstorming of ideas to use for this year. Our next coffee chat is going to be held the 19th of July, and it is entitled Getting Your Supporters Involved, Board, Staff, and Skeptics. So how do you get all of those people on board with your campaign once you decide to be a part of Give Big Riverside? And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful brainstorming session. Next, we're going to have a coffee chat in August on strategies to keep the momentum going throughout your campaign. So things to keep that momentum going, keep the ball rolling all the way through the campaign. Our next coffee chat will be about telling your story, and our final coffee chat will be about thanking your donors, which is an important part of any fundraising campaign. So why should you participate? Give Big Riverside is a vehicle for increasing your donor base. You will have the marketing efforts of the entire task force and your peer agencies, and they're going to multiply the reach of the message about your marketing and your fundraising and the great work that you're doing in your agency. Give Big Riverside is a vehicle to motivate and generate involvement in fundraising for your staff, your board, your volunteers, your clients, and your supporters. One of the things that we found last year is that Give Big gave our staff and our board members and our clients a way to ask for money for our organization. It gave them a way to fundraise for us. It gave them a 1, 2, 3, this is what you do. And that simplified it for them, and they were able to take that message out and effectively fundraise. Participating in Give Big Riverside will increase your social media presence and your utilization. No matter where you are with your agency's social media presence, you will find that this campaign will push you to take that next step and increase the reach of your message through social media. And of course, we're all participating because we need more dollars for more service. So how do you get started? The application to participate as a nonprofit agency in Give Big Riverside 2013 is available now on the website www.givebigriverside.org. Once you're on the website, you're going to click the Nonprofits tab at the top of the page, and under the section How Do I Participate, you will find the link to the Give Big Riverside application. Now, you're not able to submit the application online as of yet. You do have to download it, fill it out, and complete it along with your registration fees and send it to the Community Foundation. Hopefully, online applications will be our step for next year. Once your application is received, you'll receive detailed information on how to participate in our coffee chats, our training sessions, and our nonprofit support services. On the Give Big website, you will also see a calendar of events, and that will show you all of the trainings and upcoming events for Give Big Riverside. And we have a Friday e-blast that comes out with all of the opportunities that are upcoming for you the next week for Give Big Riverside. If you have questions about the application, the contact person is Karen Lampert at the Community Foundation, 951-241-7777. or by email at klampert@thecommunityfoundation.net. If you have questions about support or training for participating nonprofits, you would contact me. My name again is Veronica Dover, and I'm at Family Service Association. The phone number is 951-686-1096, or by email at vdover@fsaca.org. I will be happy to assist you, or one of our other members of our Nonprofit Engagement Committee will be happy to get back with you, and we'll make sure that all of your questions and support needs are covered. We thank you so much for being interested in Give Big, and we hope to see your application soon. Stephanie, have we had questions from the audience?
Thank you, Veronica, for the presentation. Yes, there's a question that has just come in. Nick wants to know, will donor information be shared?
That's an excellent question, Nick. Donor information comes in through the Razoo website, and it is kept for each organization. So you will get a list from Razoo, and actually it comes in real time. You will be able to download it anytime anyone who's donated to your organization. Other organizations, though, will not be able to see your donors. The only information that each organization gets is who donated to their organization. But you'll be able to track who gave to your organization, when they gave, how much they gave, what state they're from. You'll be able to get their contact information so that you can send out a thank you to them. And you'll have a wonderful list of donors that came through your website that you can download from Razoo at any time.
Thank you, Veronica. And I have Cynthia asking, can she register online for Give Big?
The application is available online at the Give Big Riverside website. However, we aren't set up for online registration at this time. You will download the application from the Give Big Riverside website under the Nonprofits tab, under How Do You Participate. Then you will complete it and you will submit it to the Community Foundation along with your registration fees. The processing fees, again, are 7% for the that comes through the Razoo website. What you get for that 7% is all of the processing. So you will get one check from Razoo. You will not be processing all of these credit card transactions from all of your thousands of donors that you're going to get on the Give Big Day. Plus, there is a 2% that goes to the Community Foundation to help us with the staff support for this huge project. And for that, you get all of the marketing efforts of the Give Big committee, as well as all of the nonprofit support and trainings that you receive through Give Big. If you compare that to what you would spend on your operating expenses for running a fundraising event, you'll see that 7% is an excellent value for your money.
Thank you, Veronica. And it looks like we don't have any more questions coming in, but if you do happen to have any questions as you're filling out your Give Big Riverside application, the contact information for both Karen Lampert and Veronica Dover will be on this PowerPoint presentation, which will be emailed out to all the people registered, at which point you can feel free to call them or email them with any questions that you may have. I want to thank you all for joining us for this Q&A session, and I look forward to seeing your application soon. Have a good day.